In the Heian Guild's hallway, a head covered in a hat, sunglasses, and mask looks out behind a post. Yu-Jin checks the coast and moves to a new location. He moves beside a plant, crouches by a wall, swishes across, tumbles, pretends to be a part of the wall, skids to the floor, and hides behind a plant. Dude, you look more suspicious with the way you are acting. Confirming that no one's around, Yu-Jin commences phase 1 of his plan. Yu-Jin activates the skilled Giko on the wall, with double effects because of Final Thanks and Rao Chita's Bane. He checks the elevator with security beside it, knowing it would be suspicious if it moved independently when no one was there. The elevator opens and the lunch lady walks out pushing a food cart. Yu-Jin quickly makes his move and dashes inside the elevator. Yu-Jin is confident that he won't be detected even by A rankers. Cool, but what about the S rankers? Wouldn't your little bro and Yurim detect you? Other people were in the elevator, and Yu-Jin stayed in one corner. He thinks about how Dakibi is the only person with stealth skills, since it is rare for a hunter to have such skills. The elevator reaches the first floor, and Yu-Jin creeps out with the other people inside. He looks at the security checking the people coming out of the building, thinking it is time for phase 2. Yu-Jin immediately dashes when he sees the security checking another guy. He slides on the floor, and the handheld detector beeps when Yu-Jin passes. Yu-Jin makes the run for it while the guy being checked worries about why the sensor is alarmed when nothing is left in his pockets. And now, our MC is causing problems for other people. Yu-Jin arrives at the dungeon he bought, tired from running. He looks around as he enters the code for the place, relieved that security for F-rank dungeons is not tight. The door opens, and Yu-Jin finds the portal just behind it. Yu-Jin plans to talk quickly with the system and go home immediately. I doubt it will be as easy as our MC hoped. He quickly checks his equipment and items and holds onto the gate stone his brother gave him back then. Resolute with his plans, he intends to keep his previous promise to live a quiet life, but he will do so once everything is taken care of. Yu-Jin steps into the dungeon and with a flash, he gets transported to a place filled with giant trees. Yu-Jin walks inside the dungeon, thinking the place is like a jungle. He walks further, wondering where to contact the system, while ignoring the monkey-like monsters watching him. According to the novel, these monkeys are called moss monkeys. Yu-Jin is irritated at how the system didn't tell him where to contact them. Seeing that Yu-Jin is busy, the monsters take that chance to dash and attack him. Suddenly, tentacles start slaying the monsters, but Yu-Jin remains cool since he is more concerned about how he can communicate with the system. Yu-Jin continues to walk, calling for the system while getting attacked by monsters. He slays them using his tentacles and throws toxic ooze on his enemies. Yu-Jin yells for the system, while standing atop all the monsters he had just slain. Getting no response from the system, Yu-Jin chooses to collect the F-grade mana stones that the monsters dropped. He wonders if he'll end up clearing the dungeon before getting to talk with the system. Our MC might do just that since his current skills are helpful against this dungeon. Out of nowhere, the system suddenly appears, shocking Yu-Jin from his activities. He looks at it, relieved that they have found a connection somehow. At the same time, Yu-Jin is confused with all the symbols that seem to be trying to tell him that it is not his fault. Yu-Jin scratches his head at this message, but the system elaborates further by bringing out the information about the wish stone. Like he was told, while you can wish anything on the stone, bringing the dead back to life is the exception. Yu-Jin still doesn't know what to make from this message, so the system deletes the note on the wish stone item. Instead, a sorry message is in symbols with an emoji. Yu-Jin wonders what the system is sorry about and seriously thinks about it. Yu-Jin starts to sweat as he finally realizes that the system was lying back then. Feeling like he will go crazy with this revelation, Yu-Jin shouts as he pulls on his hair. The system has lied to him about being unable to bring back the dead, and Yu-Jin quickly turns from crazy to angry. He was furious since he already knew. It didn't make sense that one could turn back time, but he couldn't bring back the dead. What? Could he have stayed in his original timeline all this time instead of regressing? Yu-Jin curses at the system, asking for an explanation, but it shows more emoticons, explaining how their lips are sealed. Yu-Jin only gets more irritated as he sees the reply and demands the system to just tell him everything without resorting to emojis. Yeah, it's like Yu-Jin is now playing charades with the system. Irked at how the system acts, Yu-Jin brings out a gate stone, claiming he can easily escape the dungeon if a high-rank monster pops out. Yu-Jin is so mad that he demands the system to tell him already. This keeps the system silent for a moment, but it reappears again. Multiple system screens blip open, astounding Yu-Jin at the sudden pour of messages from the system. The system tries to appease Yu-Jin, saying they could tell him everything, but doing so would require a sacrifice. They told Yu-Jin that preparation is vital because the more they intervene, the easier for them to be caught. The messages that started with sentences are now mere phrases. The system tells Yu-Jin it is dangerous and that they will be able to provide more information in 1 week. Oh, it's not like they don't want to explain things adequately. They just really can't say things straight up since it is dangerous. And since Yu-Jin has a gate stone, he will be fine if they do this once. Yu-Jin was worried that he needed to return to a dungeon in 1 week, and by that time, Inky's skills would be gone. He needs to find another way to make it possible somehow. He starts to ponder about the system's words, thinking how there are other beings aside from the system since they are obviously hiding from someone or something. Yu-Jin recalls how a different monster, besides the dungeon boss, appeared in the dungeon back when the system first communicated with him. If this is the case, with the numerous messages they have sent to intervene, a much more powerful monster will appear. Will it be a dragon this time? Crack. A crack appears in the air, making it seem like the air is made of glass. It gets bigger, and Yu-Jin is surprised by what is happening before him. And with no time to get away, the whole thing shatters in front of him. The messages from the system become woozy and blur a bit. Yu-Jin cursed as he looked at the shattered space before him. He wonders if the messages were too much, and if it had somehow summoned a monster worse than he had encountered. I wonder if Yu-Jin can get another wish stone if he slays another strong monster single-handedly. A large flash of light appears in front of Yu-Jin, and he raises his arm as he moves back. With what he just experienced, Yu-Jin wonders if the monster appearing would be more dangerous than Rauchita's. The light slowly disappears, and Yu-Jin brings his arm down. He was surprised that there was only a lump of a cotton ball from where the light had faded. Yu-Jin looks at it with sweat and confusion, thinking if that thing is even a monster. The ball of fluff suddenly rolls and makes a sound. The little ball looks like a chick, and Yu-Jin found it cute. What? This is the monster? Really? Yu-Jin has remained vigilant since that resulted from his conversation with the system. He holds on to 2 big leaves, trying to hide among the vegetation. You've got a poor hiding sense, Yu-Jin. The chick skips around with its tiny feet as Yu-Jin uses promising sprout on the monster. Most of the data is blurred, and the only thing he can make out of it is that the beast is still an infant with a current rank of F. Yu-Jin is surprised that the monster is only an F rank, since he is pretty sure it is no ordinary monster. He wonders if he should slay the beast, but hesitates since it is only an infant. The little guy is innocent at that moment, but it feels like it will be bad news in the future. Yu-Jin suddenly gasps, stopping the magic beast from eating a poisoned mana stone. He was so worried that he just took the monster away from it, forgetting that he was trying to hide. Since he has already revealed himself, Yu-Jin looks closer at the little guy. The magic beast was unbelievably soft and adorable in his hands, but then it started crying and flapping its wings. Seeing that it is harmless, Yu-Jin tries to calm the magic beast. He explains that the mana stone was poisoned and would get sick if he ate that stone. Yu-Jin is about to feed the infant magic beast some mana stones, but they are suddenly attacked by a dungeon monster. You can't rest inside a dungeon. Yu-Jin easily evades and uses his tentacle to defeat the enemy. He reassures the little magic beast in his hands and looks back at numerous monster eyes looking at them. This gives Yu-Jin an idea, and he tells the little chick not to cry anymore, since he'll be feeding him. After some while, the gate appears inside the dungeon. Only then did Yu-Jin realize that he had already taken out the dungeon boss, a vast, tortoise-like monster. In the novel, they called it the Moss Turtle. Yu-Jin focused on defeating the enemies, whatever they may be, because the little chick is so hungry that it ate whatever mana stone was dropped. The dungeon boss dropped a huge mana stone, albeit not as bright or big as what Myung-Woo used for Yerim's weapon. The little chick looks at it hungrily that he jumps to the stone and starts licking it. The stone is twice the chick's size, and Yu-Jin warns that it won't fit its belly. Well, he's a magic beast. You never know. Yu-Jin separates the little chick from the mana stone. The system announces that he unlocked an achievement for solo clearing an F-grade dungeon with only his F-rank stats, attack skills, and less than 3 items. On top of his L-rank Perfect Caregiver and Dragon Slayer titles, he now has the Miracle Rookie title. Hidden achievement unlocked. The little chick jumps off Yu-Jin to the mana stone, while Yu-Jin is busy checking the new title he got. Yu-Jin gasps when he realizes the new title is an S-rank with the effects of item double loot. He is so amazed that you can get an S-rank title by clearing an F-rank dungeon, but at the same time, He is dismayed that the loots from an F-rank dungeon are just worthless. He also laments how Inky's skills are disappearing soon. Yujin was so busy in his thoughts that he didn't realize that the little one was trying to eat the huge mana stone, and the little guy somehow managed to eat it, making his stomach bulge. Monsters have unique stomachs. Yujin ponders if solo clearing higher-ranked dungeons would also give out titles. While he still has Inky's skills, he might be able to clear up to D-ranked dungeons independently. Our MC is a bit forgetful. He doesn't remember lecturing Yerim about mana use. Yujin makes up his mind and plans to clear as many dungeons as possible, to get some good items while he still can. He really should just leave the solo leveling stuff to Jinwoo. The little chick has recovered a bit from his eating, and Yujin takes the magic beast in one hand as it burps. Only then did Yujin realize that the big mana stone he held before was gone. The little guy simply chirps, and Yujin wonders if it is a pig instead of a bird. It's a gluttonous bird, for sure. After clearing the dungeon, Yujin heads home with the white fuzzball. But instead of getting time to relax, he worried that the new guy would end up in Peace's stomach. Peace immediately attacked the chick upon sight, so Yujin had no choice but to leave the room with the chick. Yujin sits by his door with a closed door thumping loudly because of Peace. Knowing that Yujin can't leave the two alone, he wonders if he can train Peace once he calms down. But even with this, he worries that the little guy might still get eaten when he goes out and leaves the two. It will be a whole Sylvester Tweety thing if Yujin does. Yujin imagines that Peace is using all his muscles to open the door. He is so deep in his thoughts that he doesn't realize someone is approaching him. The system announces that Weakling's hunch is activated and that an S-ranker is coming. Yujin is so surprised that the little chick tumbles off his hands. And another problem arises. Yuyun sees the bird and asks about it since it looks funny. Yujin clasps the little chick in his hands as he pales, thinking about what excuse he should make. Since Yuyun has already seen it, he admits it is a magic beast. This answer got Yuyun all agitated, and he asks questions. Yujin looks away as he says he found the monster in the hall and starts making up a story of how the poor beast was left alone. So he adopted it. I doubt that excuse is gonna fly. Yuyun's mouth hangs open at this with a blank look. Seeing that his brother has already decided, he simply sighs. Yuyun starts saying that he has some questions, which is why he was there. Wow. Yuyun just lets it go even though he knows his brother is lying. Yuyun was unable to continue because Yujin suddenly clasped his hand. Yujin claims that Yuyun arrived at the perfect time and asked for his brother's help calming Peace down. They open the door to the room and approach Peace, who is angrily growling at the little guy in Yujin's hands. Yujin tries his best to explain that the little chick is not food and that it is Peace's younger sibling. They are family now, so he hopes for them to get along. Peace ignores this and leaps to where the chick is, but Yujin is just as fast and moves the chick out of Peace's way. Now they are doing an episode of Looney Tunes. At the same time this is happening, Yuyun says that he wants to talk about the day his brother got abducted. Peace continues to chase while Yujin runs with the little chick in his hand. Yuyun continues, saying he hesitates to bring it up, since it might trouble Yujin. Still, he made up his mind that it would be better to be safe. I don't think Big Bro is listening, Lil Bro. Yuyun quickly grabs Peace by the nape with a glare as he says those last words. Irked at how Peace is not behaving, Yuyun throws the magic beast away. This action shocks both Yujin and the little chick. Yuyun wants to continue his talks with his brother, but Yujin and the chick are pale with what happened. Yujin suddenly blows off, angry at his brother's actions. He shouts that they are not reasonable and scolds Yuyun. Seeing his brother so angry, Yuyun can't help but flinch. Whoa, Yujin is the only person who can make his lil bro flinch and doubt his actions. Yujin shouts at how Yuyun threw Peace, but Yuyun is only confused about why his brother is angry. Yujin grabs the front of Yuyun's clothes while holding the little chick. Yujin scolds Yuyun for doing that to Peace. Yuyun still doesn't get it and says that Peace is a C-rank magic beast, meaning it won't be hurt with that throw. And to prove his point, Peace lands on the floor perfectly fine. Oh, Lil Bro has a point, though he is still wrong. Even though Peace is okay, Yujin is still angry with his brother's actions. He asks Yuyun if he'll be throwing everyone who can withstand it. Seeing Yujin so angry, Yuyun tries calming his brother down, saying he won't do that. At the same time, Peace looks at the two while approaching them slowly. Yujin can't be appeased and yells for Yuyun to sit down. Yuyun and Peace now sit side by side on the sofa as Yujin lectures Yuyun on how he should treat Peace. They look like kids being scolded by their parent for misbehaving. He tells him how Soyoung Kang from the Sejong Guild plans to look after her mount like her own child. and how even Hyunjae gave Peace a treat when they visited. And yet this brother of his doesn't care much for his mount. Yoo-yoon looks at Peace and says he cares, but Peace just gives a confused look. Yoo-yoon promises to do better and care for Peace like one of his top-grade equipment. Yoo-jin was shocked that he felt like his blood pressure was rising. He continues to scold his brother that Peace is not a piece of equipment, and this is the exact reason why Peace doesn't listen to him. Yoo-yoon reasons that it will change once they get together in a dungeon raid. The little bird learns fast from Yoo-jin and scolds Yoo-yoon with a chirp. Yoo-jin continues with the scolding, saying that Yoo-yoon's attitude is the biggest problem. He asks what Yoo-yoon has ever done for Peace, and Yoo-yoon stammers as he says he pays for the food. Like a feral mother cat, Yoo-jin is unhappy with Yoo-yoon's answer. Yoo-jin says that providing food is not all that matters, and asks what Yoo-yoon has personally done for Peace. The little bird chirps in as well at this, but Yoo-yoon cannot answer his brother's question. Now, the big bro looks like a wife scolding her husband for neglecting the kids. With nothing to rebut, Yoo-yoon can only apologize and admit it was all his fault. Knowing Yoo-yoon well, Yoo-jin is aware that Yoo-yoon still doesn't get what he did wrong. If he bases it on the past, the young Yoo-yoon had difficulty understanding people. Yoo-yoon did things without considering what others would feel, and he even broke off large branches from a tree just to give them to his brother. Lil Bro only cares for Big Bro's opinions, and seeing how Yoo-yoon easily breaks off and carries big branches back then, proves that it is only natural for him to be an S-class. Knowing that his brother still has a long way to go, he suggests that his brother should hug instead of apologizing. Yoo-yoon is happy with this suggestion and opens his arms for his brother. Peace blankly looks at Yoo-yoon's cheerful demeanor, but Yoo-jin shouts at Yoo-yoon that he should be hugging Peace and not him. Oof, I guess Lil Bro's thinking is a bit warped since his EQ is somewhat below average. Yoo-yoon listens to his brother and awkwardly puts his arms around Peace. Feeling the same as Yoo-yoon, Peace avoids his touch but stays in place. They are obviously displeased with what they are being forced to do, but Yoo-jin is happy enough with that. Yoo-jin finally calms down and sits on the sofa with them, saying they should do this kind of thing often, while Yoo-yoon and Peace immediately pull apart to place some space between them. Seeing that Yoo-jin is now in a better mood, Peace purrs at Yoo-jin and makes adorable eyes at him. I'm sorry, Puss. Peace looks more precious than you are. Yoo-jin is touched by how Peace apologizes and brings the little bird close to Peace. He asks if Peace will stop bullying the little guy, calling the bird Chirpy. Peace looks at the bird while Chirpy stares blankly at Peace. To prove that he will now behave, Peace licks Chirpy. This makes Yoo-jin a bit worried. But seeing that Peace is not doing anything else, he compliments Peace for being good. Peace is so happy to be praised that he wags his tail. Behind him, Yoo-yoon gives Peace a blank stare for acting cute in front of his brother. It feels like Lil Bro's stare is saying how unfair it is that he gets scolded, but Peace gets complimented. Yoo-jin concludes that he should still separate Peace from Chirpy. Seeing that everything is fine now, Yoo-yoon returns to the matter of why he is there. He tells Yoo-jin to get a complete physical checkup and is about to say more, but Yoo-jin cuts him off by smiling and asks if Yoo-yoon is free. Our MC is totally obvious. Yoo-jin invites Yoo-yoon to do a dungeon raid with him and says they will use that as an opportunity to check Yoo-yoon's skills and have Yoo-yoon and Peace bond. Aware that his brother just changed the subject, Yoo-yoon lets it go and says he will have it set up. Yoo-yoon thinks about how Yoo-jin always lies to him, making him feel sad and unworthy of his brother's trust. Yoo-yoon looks at his brother as he wonders what Yoo-jin is really hiding. MC's Lil Bro is so patient. Even though he is sad about it, he simply trusts his big bro. After what happened with Yoo-yoon, Yoo-jin went on a solo raid 2 more times. The first was an E-rank underground cave, while the other was a D-rank lake dungeon. During both raids, he received messages from the system, as well as rewards and new titles. For the E-rank dungeon, Yoo-jin got an S-grade titled Veteran F-ranker that doubles the effect of his attack skills. This makes Yoo-jin curse since the effects are useless for someone like him who doesn't have any attack skills. Yoo-jin grumbled at the system because of this skill. For this exact reason, the system ended up giving him something more useful. I wonder if the title rewards are preset, since it didn't consider if the receiver has no use for it. For the solo clearing of a D-rank dungeon, Yoo-jin received the S-grade title Imperceptible, which comes with 2 skills. The first skill is the A-rank Hidden Object skill, which makes it hard for others to perceive or actively look for Yoo-jin. While the other skill is an S-rank skill called +1. This skill lets Yoo-jin share one of his S-grade or lower titles or skills with whom he is in contact. Jin thinks the new skills were not better when he got them for the first time. Now that he rests, he mulls the pros and cons of using those skills. The +1 can double Yun's or Yerim's offensive skills. The downside is that Jin must be present and remain in contact to make it possible. Jin wonders if adding the hidden object skill will be helpful. Oh, with the +1 skill, the title effect of veteran F ranker will be somehow helpful. While Jin is busy, Peace is eating his food, and at the same time, Chirpy is sticking close to some of the ground mana stone. Jin notices this and tells Chirpy that the mana stone is not his. He takes the bottle, but Chirpy tries to hold on to it. Jin thinks how odd Chirpy is as he recalls how a hunter with a taming skill was unsuccessful in taming the little guy. Jin's skills don't work well on Chirpy, so they must observe the bird. But Jin is relieved that the magic beast is at least fond of him. So the keywords might have also worked, but the system never announced it. The small bird is one big mystery. Full after eating his meal, Peace decides to rest. At the same time, Chirpy gets close to Peace. Peace is taken aback when Chirpy climbs up on him. Chirpy reaches the top of Peace's head, proud of himself. Peace doesn't really do anything, but he still looks irritated. Seeing this interaction, Jin immediately slides down with a camera on his phone. He tells them to hold so that he can get a picture. Jin takes a good shot of Chirpy with his wings spread out atop Peace's head. He even manages to take photos of how Chirpy slipped and fell to the floor. Peace really listens to Jin well. Jin selected the first shot he took as a profile picture, and finally got to creating a social media account. His followers count quickly rose, but he thinks it is only natural since his babies are adorable. Jin should also start vlogging. Suddenly, Yun pops out of the television, asking his boss to follow him back as well. Yun comments on how the magic beasts are going viral. Finding the new addition adorable, Yun says he must be a gluttonous cotton. Yun brings out an A-grade mana stone and offers it to the bird. Chirpy didn't hesitate and lunged for the mana stone. Wow, for a hunter who doesn't do dungeon raids, he's pretty adept at collecting quality materials. Jin gasps at this and takes Chirpy away. He then scolds Yun to not waste expensive stuff and spoil the kids. Yun sees the grandma who cared for him and Jin, making him quickly agree and apologize while calling Jin grandma. It was only then that Jin realized that Yun was under his influence. Some time passed, and everything that Jin had planned somehow fell into its place. On TV, there was a report about the building being made under Jin's name. The monster breeding facility planned by the guilds is now being built beside the Heian Guild. No expenses were spared, and all the workers were awakened. The projected completion date will only take a short while, which is expected to be only 2 weeks or less. I hope someone will figure out how to make such a thing possible in real life. Jin is amazed to hear this news and thinks about how Myung-woo and Dr. Siak will join him in the facility. Aside from them, he will be getting new infant magic beasts. He wonders if there's anyone else he should be recruiting. Me? Please recruit me as your PA. Jin suddenly plops down, realizing he has more work to do than relaxing and enjoying life. He calms himself down and resolves to do things step by step. Jin intends to focus on communicating with the system, which brings into thinking how some things don't seem to add up. He recalls how he got duped into thinking that the Wish Stone couldn't help him bring his brother back to life, and that the system said it was not Jin's fault. The system is sus. Jin thinks about it, wondering if something has gone wrong, and if that happened when he chose to rewind the time. Jin contemplates it but gives up as he flops down to the sofa. He concludes that it won't help with anything, even if he spends the time thinking about it, so he will just ask the system during their scheduled dungeon raid. But Jin is sorry he didn't properly think things through back then, because in a place filled with black and purple flames, a sword is pointed at Jin, and the person pointing the sword at him is none other than his beloved brother, Yun. What the? That is a big jump on what happened. With Yun glaring at him, Jin thought he should have been more open to his brother before things turned terrible. Just what is happening? I can't imagine Lil Bro actually hurting his beloved big bro. If only Jin had paid more attention, he would have noticed it back then. The manhwa is finally showing us what happened before that big action jump. There are a lot of dishes on the table, and everything looks scrumptious. Myung-woo was responsible for the feast, except for the fried eggs Jin cooked. Despite the bright feast on the table, the ambience is quite different because of the people. Jin wanted to have dinner with his brother, Myung-woo and Yerim, to bond a bit. But the thing happening before him is vastly different from what he intended. Someone's missing in this group. Where's Sungin? Yerim tries to change the atmosphere by happily munching on the food and complimenting Myung-woo on the delicious food. Yu-jin does the same and offers some of these to his brother, but Yu-yun is in a bad mood and says he will only have the eggs his brother cooked. This line chills the ambience, and Yu-jin is a bit miffed that his brother is being stubborn. He starts to scold Yu-yun, but Myung-woo stops Yu-jin. Myung-woo says it's okay even if they don't get along, since they wouldn't run into each other often when he leaves Haeyeon with him. Yerim keeps on eating, but she still manages to comment on how cold Myung-woo is. Myung-woo is like Yu-yun, who only cares about Yu-jin's opinion. Yu-yun asks his brother what Myung-woo means. Yu-jin explains how Myung-woo rejected Haeyeon's offer and decided to stay with him instead. Hearing this news, Yerim was excited that Yu-jin's building would have a monster daycare and a smithy. Yu-jin smiles big at this, saying the real talents will flock to the place. Unlike Yerim, Yu-yun has a dark look on his face. Lil Bro must be thinking about how his big bro will leave him behind, yet other people get to be with him as he goes. Yu-jin notices his brother's gloomy behavior, thinking that Yu-yun is having second thoughts about the things he will miss out on. Yu-jin believes this is why he invited them to bond, for Yu-yun to make a good impression on Myung-woo and get to know each other. Yu-jin smiles at Myung-woo, promising that he will give the penthouse of the building to him. The two cheer using ribs, and Myung-woo asks Yu-jin if he needs any equipment. Yu-jin smiles brightly at this, while looking at his brother, giving him a look that says to make friends with Myung-woo. Yu-jin then asks Myung-woo if anything can help with his defenses. Beside Yu-jin, Yu-yun is angry to the point that he cracks his glass with his hold. Instead of thinking about why his brother is acting this way, Yu-jin scolds his brother inside his head. They really should talk this out. After they finish the meal, Yu-jin sighs at how awkward and asks Yerim what's wrong with Yu-yun. The two are washing dishes, and Yerim says Yu-yun is cold these days. Yu-jin thinks about how his brother might be shy around Myung-woo. I doubt that is the case. Yu-jin hoped that his brother would be at least relieved that no one would mess with him anymore, but he acted all cold throughout the dinner and even left early. Yu-jin was suddenly struck with the idea that Yu-yun might be jealous of Yu-jin for getting his own group now. Seeing Yu-jin act weird, Yerim simply says she doubts it. Yerim is impressive. She can even read Yu-jin now. Yerim says Yu-yun might only be sad, since Yu-jin is leaving his protection. Yu-jin looks at Yerim, reminding her that he is the older brother. Yerim explains how Yu-yun might feel that they are starting to drift apart, as she recalls her previous conversation with Yu-yun. That explanation is on point. Yu-jin asks what Yerim means, but Yerim says she is not thinking of anything specific. Yerim thinks up a reason and says Yu-yun might be feeling tense, since the recently reinforced security has been malfunctioning for 3 days now. Hearing this makes Yu-jin anxious that he is almost spitting blood. Yu-jin claims he is guilty, but Yerim reassures him that he has nothing to do with it. In any case, Yu-jin can join her instead of his brother. And Yu-jin reminds her that Yerim currently works for his brother. Well, there's no harm in trying. After that dinner, Yu-jin tried to make up with his brother. He checks if Yu-yun will still be going with him to a dungeon, and Yu-yun says he will make time even if he is busy. On the day of their raid, Yu-jin gives his brother a beautiful bouquet of flowers while smiling. Yu-yun only gives it a blank stare and asks what the flowers are for. Yu-jin pales, thinking about how his plan failed. Yu-yun simply gives the flower to a guild staff to hold onto it. No, Lil Bro is rejecting a gift from Big Bro. Yu-jin looks down as he thinks about how Hyunjae pulled it off, since his brother obviously doesn't feel anything about receiving the flowers. Yu-yun simply tells his brother to fasten his seatbelt, while Yu-jin is still lost in his own thoughts. He expected that Yu-yun would find the action funny at least, but seeing his brother so sullen confused him. Yu-jin thinks they should have a heart-to-heart conversation, but things go haywire inside the dungeon before they can do so. We are finally nearing the part where Lil Bro puts a sword against Big Bro. Peace is sniffing around inside the dungeon, and Yu-jin is checking Peace's condition. It is when monkey-like monsters suddenly appear before them. Peace quickly took an aggressive stance against them and started slashing those who got near, while Yu-jin and Yu-yun are just watching him on the sidelines. Yu-jin is amazed at Peace's performance, but Yu-yun says is only natural, since different monster species tend to be inimical against one another. He explains how this is one of the strategies hunters use to save them from spending too much energy fighting against monsters. Yu-jin smiles that his brother is finally talking to him normally. He continues the conversation about how this will help with Peace's growth. Still, Yu-yun turns his back on his brother and ends their talk by telling him to focus on his own leveling. Yu-jin was once again stumped that his brother was giving him another cold shoulder. Yu-yun is hot and cold. Jin starts to focus on fighting monsters, but before he can attack one, his brother binds them and slay them with a boom. This happens every time Jin tries to attack one, and Yun even uses his blue willow leaves skill just to blind his own brother. This got Jin all angry, and he started scolding Yun. Yun merely tosses him a monkey that Jin can easily slay, saying that he is only helping Jin since things can be dangerous. Furious, Jin impales the monster thrown his way and tells Yun to just spit out whatever is eating him up. Yun continues to attack incoming monsters and says he wouldn't bother, since his brother obviously doesn't want to share anything with him anymore. Lil Bro is being overprotective and sulky at the same time. This dumbfounds Jin and rebuts that Yun is not sharing things with him. He reveals that he knows how Yun was wreaking havoc in the previous years. Still, Yun doesn't even deem to tell these important things to him. Yun twirls his sword and throws it beside Jin, stabbing the monster that was just about to attack his brother. Yun claims he is only protecting Jin and gaining more power and influence. But with how things are right now, Yun knows that Jin has his own career, and even if he is his brother, he has no right to interfere. He finally reveals that with Jin leaving, Yun feels like he is not needed by his brother anymore. And Yun is currently distressed about this fact. Thank God he is finally talking about what he really feels. Finally understanding his brother, Jin slashes an enemy beside Yun and says it is normal to worry about your family. He tosses Yun's sword and tells him not to worry too much about him, since most people wouldn't even think about harming him. Yun takes his sword and says that it is not the problem. He then takes his stance and releases flames on the other monsters. Yun asks Jin if he can't just relax and enjoy life without doing anything or going anywhere since he will provide for him. Yun claims that he won't ask his brother questions if he stops questioning him or if Jin will at least sit back and stay away from dungeons. Yun's words reminded Jin of the memory he got from his brother before he turned back time. The words that Yun is telling him now are Yun's wishes from back then. Jin starts to ask Yun, but the system suddenly messages him and Jin starts to disappear. This is a prime example of bad timing. Jin is aghast with what is happening, and Yun looks back at his brother. Jin called for Yun, but he couldn't say any more words. Yun can only watch as his brother vanishes right before his eyes, leaving only a spear behind. Yun calls for his brother, but Jin is already gone. Yun looks around with both worry and horror. To no avail, Yun can only scream for his brother, and the system adds coal to the fire. As for Jin, he is now falling into a space of swirling blue light. He screams at first and then scolds the system for its wrong timing. He suddenly screeches to a stop, and a pixelated volleyball face welcomes him, calling him honey. Other pixelated images appear, and a water droplet and tree ask Jin if he can see them. Jin answers them, and the system exchanges greetings with Jin, still calling him honey. There are a total of 5 pixelated images before him. The images are the deer, water droplet, volleyball face, wolf, and tree. Yes, I know, the deer and tree look different, but those are what they are called in the novel. Also, the volleyball head is named differently, but we will change that later as the story progresses. Deer expresses her delight in finally meeting with him. At the same time, Water Droplet mentions how Honey has a lot of questions for them. Jin tells them his name is not Honey and is about to say his real name, but he is immediately stopped. The system says he cannot reveal his name to them and that they are only allowed to share a limited amount of information. And in the case of names, it is considered critical information that should be hidden from others. Jin asks who these others are, and the system simply says that they are who shall not be named. Jin wonders if the system is pertaining to someone bald with no nose. Voldemort? Really? With no intention of broadening this subject, the red volleyball image apologizes to Honey for lying about the wish stone. Jin tells him not to worry, since things seem to have improved for him and others. Myung-woo would be long dead if he continued in his previous timeline. Jin says he needs to return to his brother, so they must discuss things now. He asks the system how they know of things that happened before he turned back the time and if his action caused some problems. The volleyball face pauses for a bit and instead says that the things happening in the future is more important. They are obviously hiding something. Trees suddenly grew around Jin, and the system explains that only Honey's world got reset. To make it simple, the system uses trees as an analogy. When Honey turned back the time with a wish stone, the tree representing his world reverted back into a small plant, but at the same time, the other trees stayed the same. This means Honey's wish only affected his world and not the other worlds. The system explains that the difficulty level of the dungeons in his world is still the same as before Honey used the Wish Stone. His world will think that the dungeons are getting harder to clear, but the system is doing its best to slow it down. At the same time, they are also trying to expand their influence through the dungeons, and this is where the system requires Honey's help. So the system is merely a guide, and the dungeons are not within their abilities domain. The system opens Honey's skill, My Kid is the Best, and the weird upgrade that includes a photo book appears. The pages flap open, and the numbered squares float around Yu-Jin. This feels like a scene from Cardcaptor Sakura. The system explains that Honey must use his keywords on 50 S-rankers and influence them, and in doing so, Honey will be able to save his world. The system explains how this was designed to make it easy for him to understand what he must do. They add that the system interface that the Awakens see in their world is also based on their world's video games. The system also considered doing tropes like the Chosen One or breaking pots, but they simplified it since it won't be there for long. Yu-Jin was shocked to learn that the status windows would disappear since they were helpful. The system explains that the current interface is more of a tutorial, and if they keep it in the long run, people will stop thinking outside the box. The system gives an example of how people tend to underestimate F-rankers, thinking that they won't get better, even if there is already evidence of someone who just destroyed that way of thinking. The system explains that anyone can grow, whether if it is the stats or the skills, because people can change. This is how one must work to gain the result he or she wishes, which is what everyone basically does in real life. Yu-Jin totally understands what the system is telling him. Still, he clutches at the volleyball head image and demands his keyword be changed. He says it is the least they could do, since his keyword is like he is asking people out. It is like he is playing a dating sim game intending to seduce 50 S-rankers. If this happens, the whole manual will change its title to My S-Class Romance. That might become popular if that kind of game is ever made. The system tries to appease Honey by saying he can also use the keyword on magic beasts. Water Droplet speaks up and says that they did not set the keyword, since they just filled out the name and description of the skills. Yu-Jin says they should have at least sent some instructions just like they did with his friend. Yu-Jin almost slips and says Myung-Woo's name but stops himself just in time. He continues to rant at how his friend's skill has a saved stash of materials, an elemental, and even a guidebook. Water Droplet tries to talk back but can't make up a reason. The tree pixelated image then explains that the skill given was carried over from a previous world. Tree then points out that Honey is probably now aware of the other world's existence, as the surroundings change to show different terrains and species. Tree continues to explain how the Golden Smithy was created in one of those other worlds and transferred to Honey's world. Carrying over so much content under one package rarely happens. To do this, the previous owner of the Golden Smithy has done more than necessary to ensure it is passed down completely. They would have sacrificed a lot to save other beings' futures. I hope they expound on the story of the previous owner of the Golden Smithy. Water Droplet explains they just usually fill in the information based on what was presented. It is similar to how zoologists would categorize species based on their similarities with animals they already know. This kind of thing can be inaccurate. In Honey's case, they can't change his keyword. Ouch, our MC is stuck in telling people I love you. The circle says that Honey's case of perfect caregiver is entirely new for them, and they had to do a lot of guessing to fill in its descriptions. Tree continues, saying their regular caregiver title is already rare on its own. Its requirement is to have a natural-born S-ranker consider another as their keeper to unlock the title. They continue explaining how with the use of Promising Sprout, Honey can see the potential ranks. For some S-rankers, before they awaken, their potential rank can be A or S. This means they may become an A-ranker instead of an S-ranker. However, some are guaranteed to become an S-ranker. They are such extreme irregularities that they may seem to be a different species from their own kind. The system says that the S-rankers of this kind are overwhelmingly extraordinary. The normal ones in their species tend to fear or reject them to the point that even family members can drift apart. So the appearance of a caregiver is a very rare occurrence already. In short, if the natural-born S-rankers are extreme rarities, people with caregiver titles are even more so. And for Yu-Jin to have the perfect caregiver title is beyond that. Yu-Jin was surprised that S-rankers get shunned, but for Yu-Jin, he never ever felt that way for his brother. The system continues, explaining that those with the caregiver title don't live long because they become targets by others instead of those under their influence. It is the same when S-rankers try to protect them. Because of their nature, their intention can be seen as violence. The system again reiterates that they need Honey to collect the S-rankers as safely as possible in the next 5 years. So Yu-Jin needs to collect at least 10 S-rankers every year. With this message, the pixelated images of the system start to disappear. They have reached the end of what they are allowed to share at that moment. Tree tells Yujin that they will send him back to where his brother is and that he has been gone for only 30 minutes. Yujin asks a question before they totally disappear. He asks if he could tell his brother any of these or if the system could at least send a message to his brother. Wind starts to swirl in Yujin's feet and the system answers him. They explain that Honey can't tell everything, but he can at least say he has been helping them. Yujin makes full use of the remaining time as the swirling gets stronger. He asks if the principle of dungeon generation is still the same. The system says is still the same, but some dungeons will still pop out too early, but they take care of those immediately. Yujin tried to ask another question, but no more time was left. The system tells him that all of his questions will be answered one day, even if he doesn't want to hear the answer. That sounds ominous. With the last swirl, the pixelated images and dark blue surroundings are now gone. With a gasp, Yujin finds himself lying on the ground. Seeing that he is back, he quickly sits up, thinking of his brother. He intends to explain everything since he got permission from the system, and he doesn't want to be out of sorts anymore with Yujin. Yujin looks around, and only then does he realize that everything around him is burning in purple and black flames. Seeing it makes him sweat since it is entirely different from what he remembered. He knows they were in a forest dungeon before, making him think that the system somehow sent him to the wrong dungeon. Seriously, big bro. The black and purple flames are a big giveaway of what happened there. The ground rumbles, and a growl makes Yujin look behind him. Yujin shrieks as he sees a huge magic beast about to pounce on him. No, everyone is not mistaken. That big magic beast looks a lot like Peace. Yujin then screamed that this is not an easy dungeon. Yujin manages to evade, and the magic beast is now where Yujin had been. Yujin ponders if there's a way for him to win against the monster and decides to check its rank using Promising Sprout. It was then that Yujin realized that the magic beast was none other than his lovable Peace. Surprised, he started asking a question, but he was suddenly snatched up and placed on his brother's shoulders. Yujin is surprised and asks his brother what happened. He is sure that they were in a forest dungeon before. Yujin gets a good look at their surroundings from his brother's shoulders. He realized that everything had been burned by Yujin. That took him some time to learn. Yujin tells Yujin to calm down and put him down. Yujin continues to carry his brother, saying he is as calm as possible. Yujin says that he will tell Yujin about everything. Yujin then looks at Peace and asks if he will let Yujin have his way with him. Peace turns away from Yujin, obviously displeased with Yujin like Yujin. Even Peace is now influenced by Yujin. Yujin apologizes for making them worry and is about to say where he has been, but Yujin tells him to shut up or else he will make him shut up. Yujin finally releases his anger and asks if Yujin really wants to see him go crazy. Yujin calmly answers that he will explain, but Yujin is having none of it and just tells his brother to shut up. Yujin's patience reached its final straw when Yujin disappeared. Yujin begins to tell Yujin how he has been trying to hold back all this time. Knowing that his brother is finding his way in the world as a hunter, Yujin wants to give him the chance to do so even though he is worried, but things worsen, and he can't hold it in anymore. Yujin grips Yujin's arm and drops him to the ground. He claims that he had been patient, but not anymore. Yujin points his sword at his brother and says that he will just announce to everyone that Yujin died in the dungeon. This statement appalled Yujin. Letting people know that Yujin is alive will only complicate things, so claiming that he died because of the dungeon boss monster will be easier. It may seem strange to others since they were only in a D-ranked dungeon, but it would work if Yujin showed them some of Yujin's limbs as proof. He slides his sword toward his brother's shoulder as he says this. Lil bro has gone cray-cray. Yujin promises that what they are about to do will keep Yujin safe. Hearing this, Yujin remembers the words of the system, of how an S-class may be doing it for protection, but it would still be violence. Yujin tells his brother that a potion will heal him right away. Yujin raises his sword and Yujin pales as his brother brings it down. There was a loud clanging sound as the sword met Yujin's shield. Seeing that he still has his limb, he runs away from Yujin and thinks about how his younger must still hesitate, since he didn't use his full strength. Yujin quickly grabs some daggers from his inventory. That's right, Yujin, fight back. Yujin shouts to his brother that his actions won't make him grateful. He threatens Yujin that it will be the last time they see each other if he touches him. Yujin then throws the daggers at his brother, but Yujin easily deflects them away. Yujin says that Yujin never really intended to stay with him, since he has been hiding many things from him. Yujin grabs Yujin by the collar, and Yujin immediately gets another item from his inventory. is an owner's token, and he raises it and commands Peace to stop Yu Yun. With Yujin's perfect caregiver amplifying the token, Peace quickly heeds Yujin's command and leaps toward Yu Yun with a roar. Peace bites into Yu Yun, but Yu Yun is an S-ranker with a lot of hunting experience. Yu Yun uses the hilt of his sword and hits Peace with it. Peace was shocked, and Yu Yun took advantage of this by throwing Peace to the ground. Peace was knocked out because of the attack, making Yujin worry. Our poor Peace. Yujin starts to scold Yu Yun, but Yu Yun pushes him to the ground and raises his sword. Yu Yun claims that there's no other way. Stab. The blade narrowly misses Yujin and hits the ground. Yu Yun tells his brother that he was so happy after they made up because it felt like life was normal once more, and whenever things seemed awry, he would just ignore it. Yu Yun starts asking what Yujin is really hiding. He is dubious of Yujin's beast-taming skill, since he knows that his brother isn't the type to offer to take care of a magic beast when it costs a lot. Yu Yun also mentions that the same goes for the blacksmith and the bird. We know that you're worried, but your intentions are too much. Yu Yun then asks why it is that whenever Yujin is in a dungeon, weird things happen. Like today, Yujin vanished right in front of him, and Yu Yun was so torn that he couldn't do anything about it. With tearful eyes, Yu Yun asks his older brother how he should deal with it. Yujin understands how hurt his brother must have been and starts to call him. Yu Yun wipes his eyes and admits that he can't really find it in his heart to cut his brother's limbs. To make his plan work, Yu Yun says he would need some blood or skin. Still resolved to follow his plan, Yu Yun grips the sword's hilt to pull it from the ground. Why is the system not doing anything about this? Yujin feels sorry but is shocked that his brother still intends to continue his plan. He tries to stop him, but Yu Yun reassures him that he will be healed right away. Yu Yun's sword starts to get enveloped by black and purple flames. Yujin pales and panics, shouting for the system to do its part now. The system can be slow to action. We'll rate you 1 star. After Yujin's words, a system interface appears in front of Yu Yun with a flash of light. He stops his actions and looks at them in confusion. Yu Yun quickly asks Yujin what is happening as Yujin scurries away from his brother. Yujin shouts that he will explain, but Yu Yun never allowed him to do so. Yujin starts by saying that he planned to nurture Peace when he first saw him and reveals that Peace's potential is S rank. He also admits that he has been to dungeons before where he got chirpy. And finally, everything happening is because of the system. Yu Yun is awestruck at the information his brother is sharing with him right now. At the same time, Yujin scratches his head as he peers at his brother. Yujin reveals that he has been actually helping out the system architects, and he had to ask them so that he can share this with his brother. Finally, they should stop fighting and be on good terms again. Yu Yun is amazed that his brother is doing something outside of his expectations. Still, he wants to ask why Yujin has to do it when things are bound to be really dangerous. Hearing this, Yujin can't help himself and punches his brother in the face, claiming that Yu Yun is the biggest threat of them all. This is a miscalculation on Yujin's part since he overlooked the fact that his brother is an S-ranker, and now his hand hurts instead. Yu Yun is now back to normal since he is once again worrying about his brother. Yujin holds his sore hand with the other as he looks at Yu Yun, and tells him that he didn't hide things because he could not trust him. Yu Yun didn't expect to hear this from his brother, and Yujin makes it clear to him that Yu Hyun is the one he trusts the most in the world. Even if they were apart, Yu Yun would still look out for Yujin. Seeing that Yu Yun is now calm, he crouches to where Peace is and asks for some potions from his brother. Yujin says that he knows how worried Yu Yun must have been. Yujin explains other things, like how the security check at the guild's entrance is not broken because Yujin used his stealth skill. He also tells about his other skills, like his ability to share his skill and his resistance to poison, curses, and fear. Yu Yun is in awe to learn that his brother has such unique skills. Yu Yun thinks about how there are some things he still can't tell his brother, like his title and skills as a caregiver, as well as the issue of turning back time. A bit guilty about this, Yujin simply says that his brother can ask him anything. Yeah, some things are best left as a secret. Yujin pets the recovered Peace. Peace licks Yujin, relieved that Yujin is back and everything's okay now. Yujin says it might be confusing to hear all of this for the first time, but he admits that it is also his fault for not telling him. Yujin tells Yu Yun that he can be as nosy as he wants when worried since he is his only brother. The only condition is that Yu Yun should never lock him up. It's a relief that Yujin stopped imagining how he will be locked up. Some of us wouldn't want to see Sungin in those clothes again. Yu Yun is both happy and sad to hear this from his brother, knowing he was wrong. He bowed his head like a dog, apologizing to Yu Jin. Yu Yun explains that he thought his brother didn't trust him, only for him to realize that it was actually him who doesn't trust his brother. Yu Jin sighs in relief, seeing that his brother is apologetic. He now knows it is not enough that he helps his brother without telling him anything. He imagines that he would be the same if it was Yu Yun who disappeared in front of him. Yu Jin lifts his arms and calls for his brother. The brothers make up and hug each other with peace between them. Yu Jin apologizes to Yu Yun for vanishing and empathizes with how shocking it must have been for his brother. Yu Yun hugs his brother back tightly and apologizes as well. Yu Jin says it is okay and gives Yu Yun another squeeze. I hope there won't be another sibling fight. And all the while, Peace is squeezed tight, unable to do anything between his two owners. Really, our poor Peace. Stop squeezing him. Peace purrs and suddenly shrinks. Yu Yun calmly looks at the change, unsurprised, but for Yu Jin, it is different. He is so shocked to find that Peace went back to being small. Yu Yun explains that Peace will get bigger again if necessary. The magic beast is intentionally staying small so it can still cuddle with Yu Jin whenever it pleases. This beast is so clever. Peace makes a cute face asking to be held, while Yu Jin lifts Peace up, understanding the situation. Now that he is in Yu Jin's arms, Peace looks pleased and content. Yu Jin says that Peace shouldn't have warned him. Yu Jin suddenly realizes that he didn't get to level up and reminds his brother to apologize to Peace for hitting him earlier. Yu Yun apologizes to Peace half-heartedly with a bow, and Yu Jin scolds him for it. He even asks if it was Shimeon who thought him to be arrogant. Unbeknownst to Yu Jin and Yu Yun, the system watches over them. The merperson says that they somehow prevented a crisis. At the same time, another being with a droopy bunny ear asks if they will risk it with Honey's younger brother. They must be Water Droplet and the volleyball head earlier. Water Droplet says that the brother gave up his life before for Honey, so he's pretty sure that he can be entrusted to be Honey's guardian in this life as well. Hearing this, another being surrounded by plants says that the blacksmith seems to be a more promising candidate for it. This must be Tree. Water Droplet replies that the blacksmith still hasn't reached his full potential. Tree answers that it would be a waste if the guy is not used somehow. Excuse me, Myung-woo is a person with human feelings. They should stop discussing who is valuable and who is not. Another guy who is on the stairs wearing a wolf pelt says they could just sneak the blacksmith out if the world honey is in fails. And this must be the wolf head from before. The bunny-looking being asks if they should also pull out Honey if it fails. Water Droplets replies that she doubts Honey would accept it since he is a caregiver. Looking at the screen before them, the bunny-looking being says that Honey might decline, and if forced, he might end up breaking instead. She says that what they are doing doesn't seem to be right. Wolf then says that this is better than having Honey despair, and it might even be a relief for him. A deer-looking person appears then and says that there is sometimes a need for small sacrifices to achieve the bigger goal. And this last being is Deer, whom Yu Jin has also just met. She probably is a fan of Machiavelli. The merperson gets his shell out and pours a drink for the bunny-looking being. He reminds the bunny that this is an excellent way for him to start his career as the group's newest member. He adds that they should just focus on how they will decorate Honey's room. He then raises his glass to the brothers on the screen, saying that he will wait for that day and toasts for the prodigal children in exile. Water Droplet must be referring to themselves in this line, but it seems they are planning something that Yu Yun would never allow to happen. After they returned, Yu Jin and Yu Yun became the best bros again. Yu Jin is happy that Peace is growing well, and now he is giving the data that Yun collected to Dr. Heian Siak. Dr. Siak is pleasantly surprised to have such data in her hands that she was momentarily speechless. Yu Jin asks if some data is missing, and Heian assures him that what he gave her is more than enough. She stands up and twirls around, glad that such quality and quantity of data is now in her hands without waiting long. She is like a kid who receives the gift she has been waiting for so long. Yu Jin is happy he was able to help. Heian says the data is very helpful since she can't acquire this much independently. She mentions how her uncle is assisting her in building a research center. Still, she feels hesitant since it will be associated with the guild. If this continues, her research will end up being used for profit. Hearing this, Yu Jin starts to make his own offer. He mentions the new monster breeding facility being built next door and offers a space for Dr. Siak and her research lab. It will be set up as independent, and Yu Jin says that the public can access the results of her research. By doing this, they will be able to attract hunters, and in turn, they can get help getting more data about dungeons. If this is not enough, Yu Jin says he will get the manpower that Dr. Siak requires. Heian is so touched by this offer but worries that Yu Jin won't gain anything from it. She asks why Yu Jin will go to such lengths for her research. Yujin smiles at this question and answers that this research is meant for world peace. Hye-Yan is shocked by Yujin's proclamation that she even starts seeing flowers blooming behind Yujin. It's been a while since we saw Yujin pulling out his acting skills. Hye-Yan accepts Yujin's reason and asks if she can also invite her friends. She pulls out her phone and shows a picture to Yujin. She and her friends have been researching dungeons and the Awakens for 2 years already. If Yujin allows it, they can immediately pack and go to Korea to work together. She also points out to a guy named Jaden, who is more interested in the Awakened. Yujin was frozen as he looked at the people in the picture. He quickly recognized them as Dungeoneers, a team of scientists who discovered the principles of dungeon generation with Dr. Siak. In the novel, they were called the D-Mate, but we will call them Dungeoneers here in the recaps. Yujin was amazed by this find that he said that Dr. Siak was welcome to bring her friends over. Hye-Yan is so excited to receive Yujin's approval, and they finally sealed the deal with a handshake. After that time, Yujin looks over the building being made beside Hye-Yan. He thinks he made the right investments, but the building will soon be destroyed once the dungeons increase. Aside from investing in Dr. Siak's research, he also distributes his assets in stocks. He is spending the rest in a company that will soon make a drug to prevent hair loss. He smirks, thinking that he has secured himself for the future. What he was unaware of was that his investment would be a flop, but this will be later told in the future. Can't wait for that story, I can see it now. Our MC fails to use his future knowledge fully. Yujin deems that the most crucial task at hand is securing the S-rankers that the system asks him for, even though he is yet to know why he must exactly do so. In a wharf, a container is placed on land and high-ranking hunters watch it from a distance. Yerim, Hyuna, and Soyoung arrive and greet Yujin and Yu-Yoon. Yerim claims that they had a girls' day out with Hyuna giving advice on different places to visit. Hyuna plays it cool, so she asks where the 3 monsters are instead. Yu-Yoon says that they are currently being unloaded as he checks his phone. Hyuna looks at Yu-Yoon and then whispers to Yujin, asking for news. Yu-Yoon stares at Hyuna talking to his brother, and Yerim glances at him. Soyoung is much more excited about the new magic beasts that will soon arrive, and doesn't notice anything is amiss. I guess Yu-Yoon and Soyoung getting together will take some time if they are currently uninterested in each other. Yujin gives Hyuna a generic answer with dead eyes as he thinks about how a lot went on. Hyuna asks if Yujin is sure since he is obviously off. Ultimately, she accepts Yujin's answer, choking Yujin in the process. Hyuna seductively asks Yujin if it is okay if Yujin spares one of the 3 monsters for her. Looking all pale, Yujin says he is not sure. Hyuna continues trying while Yu-Yoon blazing with fire, seeing that his brother is in the embrace of an S-ranker. Yujin thinks that his brother should calm down since Hyuna is one of his priorities for his task. Yujin tries to finish the talk by saying it is for a valued customer, so he will agree if the price is right. I wonder how our MC will say I love you to the other S-rankers, particularly Hyunjae. Hearing this, someone grabs Yujin's hand and calls him. It is Soyoung, and she looks pleadingly at Yujin as she asks if she can still count on him. She asks Yujin if he will still be willing to raise her child even if there are a lot of babies in his nursery. Yujin pales again as he hears this and hesitantly says yes to Soyoung, feeling that his hands will soon break with her grip. Yep, too far off in the future since Soyoung is more interested in getting her dragon. Hyuna and Soyoung look like they are playing with Yujin as he thinks he is only an F-ranker and is fragile compared to them. Yerim looks at the 3 of them, thinking Yujin is like slime. Accepting his faith, Yujin wonders how he can last long with 50 S-rankers when he is having a hard time with those around him. His quest is literally putting his life at stake. Yu-Yoon then calls for his brother, and Yujin looks up. Yu-Yoon gives Yujin a necklace, saying that it is an interpreting item. He explains how Yujin will be getting a lot of foreign visitors once he opens his facility and how he thinks his brother will meet it. Yu-Yoon shyly says he won't stop him even if he is worried. He also assures Yujin that he can count on him if he needs anything, and that all he wants is for Yujin to be healthy and safe since Yujin is the most important person in his life and nothing else. Why does it feel like Yujin just received a love confession? And all those pink and shiny backgrounds, is this a shoujo manhwa? Yujin is so happy to receive this gift and hear how much his brother loves him. The 2 are lost in their own world while Hyuna and Yerim look at them with disgust. I'm sure they are more in awe of how Yu-Yoon is so different in front of his beloved older brother. Yujin thinks their previous heart-to-heart talk has helped them reach this point in their relationship. This motivates Yujin to believe he must do things without hesitation. A staff calls them and announces that they are done unloading the monster cages. Yujin says they are coming, as he thinks he must really do it or the world will end. He remains optimistic. knowing this is his second shot at living with his brother happily ever after. Our MC's wish in life is really simple, but their universe is placing a lot of hurdles in their way. The container clunks open, and 2 cages can be seen inside. A pair of eyes shine from one of its cages as it looks outside. New babies for Daddy have now arrived. A staff nervously hands the owner's tokens to Yu-Jin. Commenting on how much hard time he will be having with the monsters, Yu-Jin asks for clarification as other staff carries out the task of getting the magic beasts out of the container. The man says that things were wild during the transport. Suddenly, there's a clunk sound, and the staff starts panicking. For one of the monsters has gone out. As it gets out, there's a swirl of wind and light, and everyone is shocked to find a griffin. Wow, I wonder if they will have a phoenix as well. Griffins are known mythological beings with the head of a bird and a body of a lion. With the appearance of dungeons, these mythical beings are now part of their reality. The griffin flies above everyone as it surveys its surrounding. Hyuna comments how this monster is no match in aerial combat and hopes to get one of those. Soyeon says she still prefers dragons, though. And as for Yerim, she's more attracted to the magic beast's cream-colored feathers. The griffin continues to look around and stops when it sees Yu-Jin. The system announces that the perfect caregiver title has amplified the effect of the owner's token, and the creature now feels affection for Yu-Jin. With how it looks at Yu-Jin, I somewhat doubt his affection. The griffin suddenly flies off to where Yu-Jin is, shocking Yu-Jin with the sudden trajectory change. Yu-Jin quickly takes hold of his brother by the neck and swats the griffin with his bare hand as if he was only swatting a fly. Yu-Jin realizes that his brother is limp, and everyone else starts to panic that Yu-Jin might not make it. On the ground, the griffin somehow recovers, and he looks at the other cage being brought out. The griffin makes a cawing sound and flies over to where the other cage and some staff are. Yerim is shocked that the griffin is still causing havoc. Hyuna immediately takes action by releasing a skill toward the griffin. She starts enveloping the griffin in a barrier, but it simply flies off, popping the barrier. Hyuna is so shocked that the griffin managed to get away from her skill. Oh, the stick figures are back. Hyuna recovers from the shock and immediately determines that the monster is immune to wind-type attacks. Yerim then uses her skill, Sandals of Hermes, and flies to where the griffin is. She is so close to catching it. But the griffin suddenly spreads its wings, hitting Yerim in the face. Hyuna scolds Yerim for doing a poor job for an S-ranker. Yerim reasons that the wings are big, and for someone like her who never caught a pigeon before, catching a griffin is a tall order. Impatient, she asks if she can just freeze it instead. You can't, Yerim. Yu-Jin will scold you if you do. The griffin continues to make a ruckus, attacking the cage covered with a blanket. Hyuna yells at Yerim that she can't kill it when it only got here. Soyeon helps out and tosses a canvas made from dungeon materials. After some time, a soft cawing sound comes from the griffin as it wriggles in the canvas it was covered in. The girls are tired from catching it, and Hyuna comments that it is more complex than usual since they can't kill it. Soyeon adds that it gives them a new perspective and finds that taming a monster is impossible for her. Despite having 2 S-rankers and 1 A-ranker, it was still hard for them to catch a lower-ranked griffin. The 3 women look at the mayhem the griffin caused around them. They even destroy the container that it came from. The law of the dungeon is to kill or be killed, and having to raise those kinds of creatures into trusted partners of hunters is more of a dream than a reality. Yu-Jin adds his input, saying it already tried to attack his brother, so it might be best to put it down instead. Yu-Jin grabs his brother's wrist, saying he won't allow it. Yu-Jin assists his brother in standing up as Yu-Jin groans, holding onto his neck. He is now recovered, and he claims that the griffin didn't mean any harm to him, though he admits that it almost broke some of his bones. Yu-Jin, you don't have to lie. We all know that it was Yu-Jin who almost killed you just now. Yu-Jin uses Promising Sprout on the griffin. He explains how it must be used to seeing high rankers, so it doesn't know how to behave when faced with low-rank hunters or the unawakened. In the Golden Griffin's character status, its current stat rank is at C. While its potential is rated from A to S, it continues to caw as Yu-Jin confirms its skills. Its only current skill is the A-rank Wind Resistance, and the locked skills are the S-rank Wind Mastery, A-rank Golden Arrow, and the B-rank Sherp Cry. The system notifies him that it must consume several equine magic beasts to unlock its skills. I guess it has to eat some horse. Well, it is the food chain of monsters. Done with the check, Yu-Jin instructs Soyeon to let go of the griffin and for his brother to stay put. Yu-Jin asks what Yu-Jin is planning, while Soyeon asks if Yu-Jin is sure about this. Yu-Jin assures them that he only wants to teach the griffin how to coexist, and as the weakest person in the group, he is perfect for the job. Jin steps closer to where the griffin is and talks to it. The griffin and Soyoung look at Jin, and both are mesmerized. Jin then lifts up a hand and calls the griffin to him. The griffin is so glad that it whooshes to where Jin is. It clutches its claws into Jin's arm, hurting him. Jin suddenly trembles with the pain and screams out loud, shocking the griffin away. I don't know if our MC is just acting or if he really is in so much pain right now. Everyone else was worried for Jin, but they held back as instructed. Jin holds his bleeding arm tightly, saying he is fragile. He uses a potion on his arm and calls for the griffin to give it another shot. The griffin does as he is told, and they repeat this several times, with Jin instructing it to be gentler. At the same time, the girls were all astonished by what is happening before their eyes. Jin continues with determination, claiming to teach the griffin the meaning of weakness. At the same time, the griffin looks at Jin with awe, like a pupil mesmerized by his teacher. Now this is a typical shonen manga scene here. The shocked look on the girls' faces becomes blank as they watch this scene, thinking that it is not something to boast about, while only Jin understands the depth of what his brother is trying to accomplish with his own blood. And after some time, the griffin finally lands on Jin's arm without hurting him. Jin is glad they made progress, while the griffin still worries that he might hurt Jin again. Jin reassures him by complimenting how clever it is, making the griffin glad. The two started to bond, and Hyuna and Soyoung were so amazed that Jin managed to tame such a wild beast. After all, he was dubbed the monster daddy by the media. Jin then asks Yerim if she wants to hold it and tells her to cover the griffin's eyes as she does so. Yerim agrees, follows Jin's instruction, and asks if it is really okay now, and if it won't cause a rampage anymore. Jin says it will be fine, and he explains why it is agitated lies inside the other cage. Jin opens it and finds two shadow unicorns of different colors. Jin starts explaining how the griffin caused problems because he was with them. For griffins, being around the equine magic beast is like being around his food. Wow, we have unicorns now. Wait, do you mean to say that the griffin wanted to eat those lovely unicorns? Hyuna is glad to learn that the griffin likes equine monster meat and tells Jin how her guild has many of those. She makes a deal to give those to Jin if she gets a ride on the griffin later. And Jin immediately makes a deal with Hyuna for this. Soyeon is glad that Hyuna can get to ride a griffin. Hyuna smiles at her as she thinks how special Jin is for an F ranker. Jin opens the cage wider for the two shadow unicorns, smiling and calming the two. The system notifies him that his title of perfect caregiver has amplified the effects of the owner's token, raising the level of affection for Jin. He calms the shadow unicorns and says that everything is okay now. Hyuna looks at Jin, thinking that Jin is now doing something that no one else would have dreamed of accomplishing, and she looks forward to the other things he can do as a hunter. Our MC can do many things that others don't know about, and Hyuna still wants more. Jin checks the conditions of the shadow unicorns and deems that they should be sent to the training center, considering their size. He then remembers that he should name them. After thinking about it, he says they should be called Black and White. Yerim shouts at how terrible it is, while Yun agrees with his brother that those names are perfect. As for Hyuna, she thinks that naming the creatures should be left to Jin. In a different place, a person threatens another by the neck. The man being raised groans. The other person asks if he really has no idea when Brix purchased her contract that was enchanted with a high-grade blinding curse. Yet, someone has torn it up like nothing. She is now frustrated since she recently opened a business. Having someone who can nullify it is terrible news for her. Oh, is she referring to the contract that Jin tore when he was abducted? The man stutters that he does not know and is in no position to know who wrote or tore the contract. Even his guildmaster died during that incident, so nobody knows what happened. He has answered the questions, and he is now hoping to be let free, but the other thinks otherwise. She finds the guy useless and ends him. She steps into some documents, and there is a picture in one of those. She picks it up and sees Jin holding peace in the picture. Now that the guy who bought the contract is dead and everyone else in the guys guild is gone, the person only left to ask is the guy who got kidnapped, and another person is now after our MC. The shadow unicorns have settled down, and their names were changed from white and black to light and dark. But Yerim doesn't like those and says that Jin might as well name them Salt and Pepper. Jin thinks the name is no good but accepts it anyway. Is Yerim a fan of Blue's Clues? As for the Golden Griffin, the troublemaker is named Blue for its blue eyes. Shouldn't he be named Gold instead? Blue is causing havoc in the dining area of Jin's place, and Jin is left to clean everything. Blue makes eye contact with Peace, who is lazing around, but Peace is giving off a fiery aura that Blue finds threatening. Seeing that Peace is mad, Blue immediately helps Yu-Jin clean up. Yu-Jin is relieved that Peace is helping him in his own way to keep things in order. Upon meeting Blue, Peace quickly disciplined the Golden Griffin. Yu even says it is to establish the pecking order in that place. There is a hierarchy even in the world of magic beasts. Now that Yu-Jin has finally settled everything, the magic beasts are all napping. Yu-Jin is both relieved and tired as he trudges to the bedroom. He thinks again of how he can collect 50 of them when he quickly gets drained of caring for those under his influence. The curtain in the window flaps softly as Yu-Jin lies face down. Thinking how many he has collected so far, the system suddenly notifies him that the venomous curse Dragon Dio Valsiasis has been detected. Wait, what? A dragon? Yu-Jin is so out of it that he simply repeats what the system notified him. After a short pause, he opens his drowsy eyes, realizing there is a problem. The SS rank Rao Chita's Bane gets activated, and Yu-Jin's skills effects are doubled if he fights with the other dragon. Yu-Jin sits up and checks his phone to see if there is any announcement of a dungeon break. There are no alerts, but person suddenly appears above him and takes Yu-Jin's phone away. Just how did she do that? Does she have a skill similar to Yoon or a stealth skill like Yu-Jin's? The woman steps into Yu-Jin's bed, speaking in French, saying it is awesome. She asks Yu-Jin how he noticed her and comments that he must hide some special abilities. She starts speaking again, realizing that her translation necklace is not on. Yes, she is speaking in French the whole time. She drops Yu-Jin's phone to the ground, and Yu-Jin wonders if the woman is French, how she got in, and if she is the dragon which she clearly looks human. With the translation necklace on, she greets Yu-Jin. Yu-Jin uses his promising sprout skill and determines that the woman before him is an awakened S rank with the same potential. This means that she is a natural-born S ranker. Yu-Jin is shocked by this information, thinking that she must be on par with his brother and Hyunjae. He thinks back to his past life and is sure he never heard of a hunter like this. The woman suddenly gets close to Yu-Jin, asking him what he is reading. Wow, that sent chills down my spine. The woman pushes Yu-Jin's head to the bed and says she saw Yu-Jin's eyes moving like they were reading something in the air. She asks if Yu-Jin saw a window that tells things about her. Yu-Jin finds himself in a perilous situation, thinking about how this happened before with Hyunjae. He quickly determines that using this skill on S-rankers can be deadly. But of course, this doesn't include Cublo Pro. And this woman before him is no joke since she managed to pass the heavy security. Yu-Jin makes his decision that he must speak up and explain himself reasonably. If not, then he would die for sure. As calmly as he could, he told the woman that she should have gone through the proper procedures if she wanted to see him. And then he calls her by her name, Riot. Riot smiles at this, lets go of Yu-Jin, and says that she can't do that since there are a lot of Awakened in every corner of the building. She also mentions how Yu-Jin's brother warned the world that he is off limits. I doubt she fears Yu-Yun since she even went ahead without permission. She puts a finger on Yu-Jin's forehead and presses it. She says she sneaked in instead to save the trouble since she will only ask him a question. She taps her finger on Yu-Jin with pressure, claiming that Yu-Jin is no ordinary F-ranker. Yu-Jin looks at the woman's devilish figure, wondering if he will die there. Yu-Jin is lost in his dark thoughts when Riot suddenly stops the tapping and falls silent. Whatever she is doing does not work on Yu-Jin, and Yu-Jin says he doesn't even know what she means. Is she trying to curse or poison the MC? Riot suddenly rips Yu-Jin's pajama top open, shocking Yu-Jin with the current development. The woman starts patting him and ascertains that Yu-Jin is not wearing any items to help him resist poisons or curses. Riot then laughs as she discovers one of Yu-Jin's secrets, the resistance skill. She asks Yu-Jin if he is the one who ripped that contract. Yu-Jin covers his chest and asks what contract Riet is talking about. Riot pulls out one of those contracts from her inventory and explains her startup business in selling contracts that have cursed skills on them. She admits it is illegal but can still get the job done. She shows a sample contract to Yu-Jin and mentions that it can blind the party who breaches it. Yu-Jin finally understands that this is the same as the contract that he tore before, so she did make those cursed contracts. Riot stares at Yu-Jin, saying that some average guy ripped it and got away without repercussions. Yu-Jin looks away, sweating, as he says he doesn't know what she means since he is a helpless F-class. Finding Yu-Jin amusing, Riot smiles at him and says they will find out soon enough. She takes Yu-Jin's hands and makes him hold the contract. She claims they should try it instead since the only worst thing that could happen to him is becoming blind. Lady, becoming blind is no laughing matter. Apparently, no one taught you proper manners. Yu-Jin is shocked by what is happening, but he can't move away since his stats are really only F-class. He verbally tries to stop her, but there is just no stopping Riet. She holds onto Yu-jin's hands as she rips the contract into two. Yu-jin screams as the system announces that he will be inflicted with blindness for breaching the contract. At the same time, it says that his L-grade curse resistance has nullified the blind curse. Riot laughs at this while Yu-jin, in a disheveled state, looks at her. Even with fear resistance, he can't help being wary of Riet for being reckless and worrying about what she wants to do next. Another secret revealed. The woman simply smiles at Yu-jin and assures him that she wouldn't hurt him. This makes Yu-jin shout at her for doing all that. Riot only reasons that she's only trying to figure out why the contract was torn and if something's wrong with her skill. She explains to Yu-jin that she got the skill as a reward from a vanished dungeon. Yu-jin looks up at her upon hearing this, and Riot says that the dungeon vanished into the air like there was some error after she cleared it. Yu-jin mulls over this, and Riot notices that Yu-jin must believe her if he is seriously thinking about it. Yu-jin recalls how the system mentioned that there would be dungeons that would appear 5 years too early. From what he can remember of his past life, there was no news of poison and curse skills. This means that she could only get her skills because Yu-jin turned back time. We finally see the butterfly effect. Yu-jin concludes that with such skills, Riot must have defeated a dungeon boss with poison and curse skills. This is none other than the dragon Dio Valchisius. Yu-jin mutters the dragon's name, which only amazes Riot further. She reveals that it is an SSS-ranked title of the twin of Dio Valchisius, which can only be unlocked if the dragon is defeated by siblings. Riot is being kind and explains how she cleared the dungeon with her younger brother, who is also an S-ranker like her. And it happens that her brother also absorbed the power of Dio Valchisius. Yu-jin was horrified and amazed at how powerful they must have been to defeat such a dragon. Yu-jin realizes this is why he got the alert about the dragon. With Riot absorbing its powers, she became a demi-dragon somehow. Does this mean her brother is also a dragon? Yu-jin now comprehends what kind of mess his turning back time changed things. She inspects Yu-jin closely, saying he is pretty strange for an F rank. She climbs the bed where Yu-jin still sits and asks if Yu-jin is also a dragon. Yu-jin stammers as he says that he is only a regular human. Unconvinced, Riot grabs Yu-jin's wrists and gets closer. She says he smells like a dragon or something else that can easily devour Dio Valchisius instantly. Yu-jin tries to break free from the hold as he asks what she means. You must muster up your acting skills to escape that mess, Yu-jin. Yu-jin quickly wondered if it was because of his skill Rao Chita's Bane, which he got from slaying the king of venomous cursed dragons. He doubts she knows about it since that happened before he turned back time. She pushes Yu-jin back to the bed and crawls on top of him, not letting him escape. She says that Yu-jin is interesting, making Yu-jin doubt his ears and confused about what is happening. Riot licks her lips as she says it has been a while since she got this excited. What is happening right now?